Start with a dream and share it with some friends. The idea deepens and grows. The dream takes shape, it has form and substance. A community soon arose. A listening room, the hearing room, a place to find a home to play. A listening room, the hearing room, express yourself and have your say. The walls are thin, sirens blare, the tables sit near folding chairs, the stage is set with paint and glue, and love went into every screw. The light shine bright on every star, they come to play from near and far. The light shine bright on every star, they come to play from near and far. A listening room, the hearing room, a place to find a home to play. A listening room, the hearing room, express yourself and have your say. Hearing room, a listening room, you're welcome here, so have no fear. The hearing room, come in, my friend, where art can bloom. And welcome to the Woodshed Podcast. I'm Aaron Tornberg, and this is the Woodshed Podcast with Andy Pratt today. So how are you doing today, Andy?
Very well. Hi, everybody.
And Andy and I will talk shortly, but as you know, I need to talk about the hearing room. And today we are on a Saturday. It's a nice sunny day, but every day at the hearing room, you can come and join us for some event. On Mondays, we have the podcast, and on once a month, we have the Blues Jam on Monday, second Monday of the month. That is actually this coming Monday. And when this airs, it'll be past the Blues Jam, so look for it next month in March. And we also have the open mic on Tuesday night, 7 to 10. We have Let's Have Words, that's 7 to 10 on Wednesday. And we have the Singing Jam with Mark Allio, which is a lot of fun, big group of people all playing together. And that is on Thursday, 7 to 10. Fridays, we're starting to do jams as well, but usually there's some kind of theme. We do a strictly acoustic jam on the first Friday of the month. We do a bluegrass jam on the third Friday, and there are other events that are upcoming, and you can check them all out at hearingroom.net. Saturdays vary. We do have the Songwriter Circle, and that's every other week, and then we have various events on Saturday evenings. We also have Sunday, which is the Drum Circle from 12:30 to 1:30, and then I run my open mic from 2 to 5 on Sunday. So there's lots of good stuff going on here at the Hearing Room. And we also want to thank the Greenville Junction Shop. That's Greenville, Greenville, Junction, Junction, Shoppy, Shoppe. The Greenville Junction Shop is an upcycling shop. They take items that are found on the side of the road, items that are from estate sales, garage sales, storage unit sales, you name it. And they take those items and they make them beautiful and they resell them to you. And there's some great stuff I've gotten there. I've got a really nice table that folds up and is perfect for playing games with my son. I got a MacBook Pro that I just needed to put a little elbow grease into, and it works great. It's an older one, but it works, and that's what a 9-year-old needs. So I've got all kinds of stuff I've gotten there, and you should check it out. They are at Clinton, Massachusetts, and Greenville, New Hampshire. And they do have a website, greenvilljunction.com, and you can also find them on Facebook at Greenville Junction Shop. And remember, it's Greenville, Junktion, Shoppy, Shoppe. All right, so we are now here with Andy Pratt. So
I'm just thinking, if we want to do an Apple ad, I also have a MacBook Pro.
Oh, yeah. MacBook Pros are great.
They're great, yeah.
I am recording this on a MacBook Pro as we speak.
Mine, too, is getting old. To try to upgrade with those Apple people is difficult. But
yeah, but they make a very good product.
They do. So, it's just very expensive.
I agree. That's why you go to Greenville.
Years ago, I'm sorry, what the hell? Years ago, there was a company in California that was making Apple, imitation Apple software that worked.
Oh yeah,
and it was a great revolutionary thing until somehow it got quashed. But anyway,
I remember that, and there was like wasn't there like a knockoff Apple that ran Apple software too for a while? Power or something. I remember that too.
I mean,
yeah, there was one.
The geeks rule the world, in the end, I mean,
well, and proof of that is we're now podcasting.
Yeah,
this is only possible with the geeks.
I know.
So, Andy, some people know you, some people don't. I know that you are a frequent visitor to open mics, and a lot of people have seen you, and we sort of hear rumors that you have this song that was a big hit in the 70s, in 73, right?
Yeah, it's true. It really did happen, even though it was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. And so the song's called Avenging Annie.
Yeah, it's called Avenging Annie.
And I wanted to ask you some questions about writing that song.
Sure.
To start off, because I noticed that at the beginning, of course, people who know Woody Guthrie will know that the beginning starts off with kind of a Woody Guthrie trope, and you change the words, but the melody kind of gives you that impression, and then you pick up and you make it something completely different. So how did that you get inspired to do that?
I was a pothead in those days, and I was a big fan of a big Birds fan, and I even saw McGuinn at the Boston Tea Party, and Clarence White and all that great stuff.
Oh yeah,
and so I had that Sweetheart of the Rodeo record, and that also had Graham Parsons on it, who was Harvard and great and dead, now.
Yeah,
friends with the Stones and all this. That was a mistake. Don't hang out with Keith Richards, But anyway,
well, he can take it apparently.
Yeah, nobody else can.
Yeah.
Anyway, the record was playing and that song "Pretty Boy Floyd." So as I was learning to play music and stuff, I used to copy songs and learn them, And I just started playing that song on the piano. And I was going through a divorce or something, and it morphed into and then I started playing the piano thing, and then it goes into this Bachian thing, and then it has sort of jazz changes, flat 5, minor 7th, and all that stuff in the middle part, and diminished chords and stuff. But it was the story of my first marriage, made into fantasy, which weirdly enough, did you see the movie It Happened in Hollywood, or Once a Time in Hollywood? By
Not yet.
Quentin Tarantino. That's a wonderful movie.
It's on my list.
That you can change history through art and film and stuff is a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
And so Roman Polanski and what's her name were not killed.
Yeah. Well. One would wish, anyway.
One would wish, yeah. That's what you can do in the movies.
Yeah. So you had you had success with Avenging Annie, but you didn't get there by magic. So where did you grow up?
I grew up in Cambridge, in rich section, Fairweather Street. My mother was a classical piano player, and there was music in the house all the time when I was young, like Kingston Trio and Rachmaninoff and all that kind of stuff. And I also was I went to the jazz workshop a lot, and Bill Evans was a hero of mine and stuff like that. And
what's a jazz workshop?
it was a club in Boston, that featured Coltrane and the whole great jazz boom of the 50s. Mm-hmm. And Earl Groove Holmes was there, and I later myself played a week there. It was on Boylston Street in Boston. It was a jazz club, and they had a Sunday matinee, and I used to go there and try to tap my foot to that music and stuff, which was difficult.
Yeah, well, jazz is difficult to tap your foot to because it changes so much.
I know. I liked the head, and when they went, the rest of it was. But I learned it more, later. Mm-hmm. Like I once did I did a cover of "Town Without Pity" with Mark Doyle, and it took me about a year after I had done the recording to actually be able to play it live. That's how that kind of works when you do recordings that are over your head, and then you learn to play them as you're performing and touring and stuff.
Right. It's an interesting thing. A lot of people, they write these songs and then they come to the open mic, and it's harder to play them live.
Yeah.
Because, in theory, the song is great and you can record it and you can take your time, but when you're up on stage,
yeah,
a lot more difficult.
I know. I've made a lot of mistakes in my career.
Yeah.
But the secret is if you make a mistake, you just keep going. And somebody might notice, but not everybody,
So you have 25 albums, it said on the web now, and
yeah.
That's really prolific. That's a lot.
Yeah, I just can't stop doing it. I'm a addict.
How often do you write a song?
Well, I've just written some. Randy Roos told me he got Coltrane, so I figure I can get Brian Wilson. Mm-hmm. That's a stupid thing, but I mean, whatever. If you the Brian Wilson songs are kind of jazz. They have jazz chords, and then they go to major chords and stuff like that. So if you can do that, you can do that.
Yeah, and you do play out a lot at open mics, but how often do you gig still?
Well, I am trying to get that together. I'm a terrible self-booker. I think I grew up as a rich kid, so there was money. So they used to say about me that I didn't have the drive or something that these poor kids had when they became rock stars, And I think it's also helped me to survive all the other things that can, like drugs and all the other things that can get you in that life. Mm-hmm. So I think it was good, but maybe I didn't attain the heights of David Bowie or somebody like that,
Well, what happened when you got your first deal? How did that work?
I had these managers, Ray Pratt and David Jenks, and there was Jay Giles and Ultimate Spinach and the whole Boston scene. And I was in a band called Butter with Rick Schlosser, and we were a three-piece band, and we played in the Boston Tea Party and all that stuff. Now that, I digress, but it's okay to digress here, right? I mean, if you're in if you're in a court case and stuff like that you don't digress, or that puts you in jail. But if you're just here, it's okay.
No, this is pretty open. It's a discussion. You're half of the discussion. Okay. So whatever you want to talk about.
So, well, those were amazing days in Boston. Like I have memories of me and Butter practicing, and some guy who's on speed coming upstairs and dancing around. It was the hippie days, Everything went. It was like freedom and a little dangerous, but it's stuff that, everything that we used to do, you'll get arrested for now, But it's a police state now. But anyway,
well,
enough of that.
What kinds of things did you end up doing?
So we were in this management company with Ray Pratt, and there was the Beacon Street Union, Jay Giles, Ultimate Spinach, In fact, Jeff Baxter is touring with a band now called the American Vinyl All-Star Band, and they're great. And I've got this manager, and he got me a gig, and I sang Stone's song, Honky Tonk Women or something like that
that's
with
a good
them.
one. Yeah.
And this guy sang Talking in Your Sleep, and I had been managed by Nat Weiss, who signed the Romantics, so I thought, well, I can cover this, and that was a beautiful song anyway, Talking in Your, the Romantics and stuff. And so, I digressing. So, after that, in fact, I even met Arif Mardin at Berklee School of Music. The Berklee School of Music was a music industry place, and it was in Boston, and Clive Davis went there, and Arif went there, and there's a book in the thing called Hitmen that tells you about the history of all those guys, the Yetnikoff and Clive Davis, and all the top guys in the businessmen who I think were music lovers. I think they were musical and attentive to music. Anyway, I met Arif, and then years later, back to being, I was signed by Polydor Records first as part of this Boston sound. My first record is called Records Are Like Life, and that's a great record. How about can I play a song from
Sure.
it? Okay.
Sure, that'd be great.
This song was written in the Vietnam days, and it's the police killing students on the roof, and it goes like, and I grew, it's called Low Tide Island. I might not mess it up. Low Tide Island, sinking island, rising sea, whole life, half man, blinking, left man, eyes on me. Talk, mumble, thresh, and start to hum. Step, stumble, thresh. Oh, the words go home. Blind boy, go read a book. Can't you tell a hand from a hook? Low tide island, sinking island, rising sea. Some fly island, blinking island, eyes on me. Okay, blue waves, they wail, stay home, sailor. Chin strap, listen, lips, twist and yap, helmets, listen, hands, tighten strap, save your breath for some other now. California, everything grows. Oh, grown men jingle as they run. Your daddy runs to you. grown men mingle in the sun. Blue on blue, dead by blue, on rooftop in clouds. California kills what it grows. Low tide island, sinking island. Low tide island, sinking island. Thank you.
So, and where did you play that?
Well, I wrote that. We had a beautiful summer place in Marion, Mass, and there was an island, and when the tide would rise, it would be underwater. I think I can't say these things on the air, but a little inter family rivalry. Nothing.
Okay.
Anyway, but that record, I did that record with Bill Reisman and Bill Elliott, actually, who's now a arranging teacher at Berkeley for many years, a brilliant musician, had a big band and everything. Did the string arrangement on that, and in those days, it all gets mixed up with so much. But anyway, that's part of the first record. That's Records Are Like Life. You can find it. You can buy it on Amazon if you want, whatever.
So, and that's the first record. So you, when you got signed, what was the process of recording like back then?
Well, we would go to. It was fun. I mean, I met Lauren Rowan, the Rowan brothers. All these people were there. Bill Reisman was a architecture student, and he walked into the water many years later, working on virtual reality. He was a brilliant guy, I guess. And I became friends with him because I was a young rich kid and I was into music, and he was, he wanted to. And so we had a studio in along the Charles River in Newton, and we go in there and start recording that. And then he moved the studio to Winchester. I think we might have finished that record in Winchester. It's hard to say where we finished that record. And in the time we were in Winchester, like Jonathan Edwards and Travis Shook, and all these people were coming around there, and it was just an explosion of music in the hippie days and around Boston and stuff. It was amazing. And that record then came out. Records Are Like, that was my first record, and it came out 71. Actually, if you look on YouTube there's a video of Wet Daddy. And this is British guy saying, that I'm good and I should have a career. But, it's an interesting phenomenon with a really cool video, too. And that whole record is actually good. I was influenced by jazz, Brazil 66, and McCoy Tyner, and all the people. And I did it just me and Rick Schlosser, who was my good friend and drummer, and went on to play with Van Morrison and Boz Scaggs and all. And he was a top drummer in the thing. And now he's frustrated because he's typecast as a percussionist. And if Van Morrison goes on the road, Rick only gets hired as a percussionist now because the people who make the decisions have Rick Schlosser, percussionist. That's how it works in the
check the box
big time. Yeah. And so, but. That whole record is good. There's a really, if you want to put this on your thing, there's one called Records Are Like Life. Records and Records are like life. It's the story of it says I buy records. I bought records all the time. I was really into music and stuff back then. And that record came out and it didn't do much, but it was education in recording and stuff like that.
Right. And so you recorded in Cambridge. That was after you were signed or before?
I first recorded. It was in not quite in Cambridge, but I think that was before. It's really hard to put it all together because they're all happening at the same time back then. But we all got signed as a group. That whole Boston sound. It was with Orpheus and
Right.
Harry Sandler and all those people. That it was a group thing, and I don't know that because I was kind of constantly playing and writing and recording and stuff like that. Well, those guys were doing the signing and the business, and it all just happened, and then it was over, But that's a really good record, though. If anybody wants to check it out.
Okay. Do you have another song you'd like to do?
Okay. This is a new song. This is about money in the world. It's called Cynthia. Cynthia parenthesis Mountain of Glass. Cynthia can sell you a mountain of glass. Shatters after you buy it. Money takes another path. And misery rolls like the sea. Well, why not? You can make a lot. It's open season. I'll make a plan. Get what you can. Anyone can play. Cynthia is walking in the air. She's learned how to swim everywhere. Money is beautiful, you see. It makes the sun shine on the tree. If you have it all, you never fall. At least not today. I'll make a plan. Get what you can. Anyone can play. But it's a cruel game. Cold game. Winners, losers, and lies. Sweet, sweet money everywhere. Cynthia wakes up in her bed. For the last time, she knows. Cynthia, it's now more to be said. If it's over, it's over. Cats on the stairs. Beautiful hair. got to find a place to go. Somebody new. Children of blue. It'll be alright. Cynthia can sell you a mountain of glass. Shatters after you buy it. Money takes another path. It's the way of it. And on it goes. You don't care. You don't know. You don't see. Another chance goes by. You stay where you are. Goodbye. Cynthia can sell you a mountain of grass. Shatters. It's all over. Thank you.
So when was that written?
That's written about 3 years ago.
Yeah, so more recent.
Yeah, and I think it was in the I don't know, Bush years or something.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about the money, what happens to money
Yeah.
and people and everything like that in this crazy world we're mixed up in.
Yeah.
And at one point, there's a thing. Bruce Springsteen supposedly wrote songs hitchhiking. That I was in Starbucks in Cambridge, and I met this guy, and I said, "So what do you do?" And he said he was an investor or a player in the money world. Mm-hmm. I go, "Oh, and I was with my lefty venom, stuff, and then he said, "But anybody can do it. It's open, So I put that in the song, because and I couldn't really, do anything. I didn't want to hurt the guy or anything, but
Right.
It's interesting that though. My favorite comedian is Jim Jeffries. You know Jim Jeffries?
I've heard him. Yeah.
He's the only sane man in the. He brings sanity. And he's always talking about if you hang out with people, you learn how it is.
Yeah.
I'm not as social as Jim Jeffries, but I do it sometimes.
Well, but
enough to write the song.
You're a performer, though, so
right.
You have your own way of communicating.
True.
And Jim Jeffries doesn't do it
He's
your
a
way.
performer too. You should see that guy on stage. He can put together a story and keep it going in front of a crowd. Like he's an amazing, talented person.
Well, so are songwriters doing the same kind of thing.
But he's rare. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Well, what? So, what did you do after your first album? You did another album, and then which album was Avenging Annie?
That was the next album.
That was the next
album.
one.
The thing kind of kept going. All the musicians were around, like the Cars, and we were all just because I had the recording studio, Angus. So a lot of people came through there, and Rick Ocasek and Ben Orr came through in a band called Milkwood, and we would all meet in the and they took off, and then I'm sitting in something and I hear Just What I Needed coming over the radio. That was
right.
And they were great. I mean, Rick was a genius. In fact, I did a cover of. Here, let's do this. If I can remember the words. Oh.
Yeah, you did that tune down at the end.
Yeah, I was going into another song, but you're an observant person. I need the words to this. You know the words to Drive?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, who's gonna
drive you home?
Yeah, that's the end, but how was the first line?
Oh, yeah. Who's gonna... I gotta look it up. I'll look it up right here. Okay, Drive.
Yeah, I can do that too. Yeah, let's do that. Drive lyrics. Hey, we're just here. We're gonna look up some songs. We'll get it.
Who's gonna tell you when? That's the first line.
Okay. Yeah, you cue me. I'll do it.
All right.
Who's gonna tell you when? It's too late. Gonna tell you when things aren't so great. I can tell you things.
Yeah.
Can't go on. Again. Nothing's wrong. I'm gonna drive you home tonight. Okay, what's the next line?
Who's gonna pick you up?
Who's gonna pick you up?
When you fall.
Yeah, I know. You fall, who's gonna... I know the rest, I think. Who's gonna come around when you come? Who's gonna pay attention to your dreams? Gonna hold their knee when you scream. Can't go on thinking nothing's wrong. I'm gonna drive you home. Okay, what's the next one? Gonna hold you down when you shake. Yeah, I know the next one. Gonna come around when you break. Can't go on. Nothing's wrong. Who's gonna drive you home tonight? Yeah, there's a guy that wrote a book on Ben Orr. Thank you, yeah, you.
I call this the sound of one man clapping.
Yeah, right. Buddhist, yeah. Like, what's her name? Tina. I cover one of her songs too, but the guy from Joe Milliken wrote a book. It's an excellent book, and it quotes me. It's Ben Orr, the story of Ben Orr.
Mm-hmm.
And
how do you spell that? Ben Orr?
Benorr.
Like Ben. Okay.
The singer of the Cars, the bass player and the singer from the Cars.
Okay.
He and Rick were like Jagger talks about the Beatles as a four-headed monster. Well, they were the two-headed monster, Rick and Ben. And
so they wrote together.
They wrote together. I think Rick was the main genius, and Ben was the handsome lead singer guy, and he was a good bass player. He was a good, solid bass player. But the thing is, now that he's promoting the book, and that's great. And he's a good guy. I know him and stuff. And so he did a thing in the club in Beverly and they had a cover band come, and they were doing all the Cars songs, and the drummer was there, and he was old, and he was thinking, I'm going to do something with Rick, and then, of course, Rick has to go and die, so he can't do anything with Rick, But, and they're saying to me, why didn't Rick come to this? And I'm going, listen, this is Rick, and his best friend is dead, and you're doing songs out of his life, of all this stuff that, the girlfriends and all this that came out of his life and were famous, and now he's old, and who wants to come see a cover band replay your life, when you're like 80 and you wish you weren't,
Yeah.
I'm just saying though.
Yeah.
He was a genius songwriter, and they were good, nice people too.
So what do you think of the Who's song "My Generation" and that whole idea of basically if you're over 30, you're no good anymore?
People try to put us down.
Yeah.
The Who were great. I had all their records. Even Roger Daltrey covered "Avenging Annie," and Townsend said he liked the song. There's an episode of recently, because my manager says he's going to get me on Howard Stern, which might be. Howard Stern is great now,
Right.
He
right.
thinks Trump needs therapy, and he's right, But anyway, Pete Townsend had that thing about pedophile, looking, he said he was looking at pedophilia on the web to help a friend or something like that, and everybody hates him for it. So they get to be an interview at Howard Stern, and Daltrey goes in first. Daltrey's, I think, more outgoing or something. I don't know, but
well, he is the lead singer, so
yeah. But Townsend is a genius. I don't like Daltrey because he said bad things about me. About that, Townsend is a real. So, and Pete's in the back room, and he hears him, and he just leaves. He says, "I'm not, that's an interesting story." And I'm with Pete, and everybody hates him, and the Me Too, but Catherine Deneuve had a very, I think, sane thing to say about the American hysteria about Me Too. It's I don't want to get into that. Anyway, so what else are we doing now?
Well, how about? I think that right here would be a good place to take a break for a minute, and I think what I should do here is I'll play Avenging Annie. I'll edit that in here.
Yeah, good idea.
And then when we come back, I will do my little spiel about the hearing room, and then we'll talk some more. So We're talking with Andy Pratt today. Yeah. And this song is called Avenging Annie. It was a number 1 hit in where?
New Orleans, it was number 1. Number 5 in Boston, it was. It still gets airplay, and it's a lot of people like it. Avenging Annie. It's a story of my first marriage. There's I told the story on the YouTube video too. They can read that.
Okay, all right. So here's Avenging Annie.
almost 35, and I found my peace and I found my release, and I'm happy just to be alive. And I might go back to my Floyd if I think it's the thing to do. He gave up murder and theft right after I left, and you know I still love him too. Just like your woman loves you, 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 just like your woman loves you. They call me Avenging Annie. I'm a Avenging Annie. I spent my whole life chasing what you want, and I pass you on. They call me Avenging Annie. I'm a Avenging woman. I spent my whole life chasing what you want, and I pass you
And we're back. We have Andy Pratt with us today, but before we talk a little more, I'm going to mention that the Hearing Room is a nonprofit organization. We are funded by members, and I want to talk about how you can become a member of the Hearing Room. It's $100 a year, and what it gets you is a T-shirt, a membership card, and it gets you the satisfaction of knowing we can pay our rent. The Hearing Room is fully supported by membership and donations. So we really need people to join each year for $100, especially if you're here all the time. It's a good deal. Plus, you get $5 off for any event. So if you are a member and you come in and you want to go to open mic every week, that's 52 weeks times $5. So you can see that very quickly it's worth the money to pay the $100 up front. You can pay $100. You can know that you're supporting the Hearing Room, and you get into events. Also, you get advance notice of events that require ticketing, and things that require ticketing that are more than $5. You still get the $5 off the ticket. So it's a really good deal. So you should definitely look at membership at hearingroom.net. So go to hearingroom.net, click on membership, and you can take care of your membership. We also have coming up very soon on the 16th of February is a membership concert that's it's at Linda Marx's salon, and it's pretty exciting. So you can check that out. It's got 9 performers. And it's a benefit for the Hearing Room, so it's a place where we're hoping everybody who attends becomes a member. We also want to thank the Greenville Junction Shop, which I mentioned before. It's Greenville, Junktion, Shoppe, Shoppe. And Greenville Junction Shop is a upcycling store, I call it. It is taking items that are found or perhaps purchased at a cost that at an auction or something like that. They get the items, but they are all good and they are all in working order, and you can check with them on Facebook. So Greenville Junk, Junktion Shoppe, Greenville Junction Shoppe, Shoppe for Shoppe. And you can check them out also at greenvilljunction.com. Just remember that junk is spelled with a K, Junktion. So it's greenvilljunction.com. And there's a lot of good stuff going on there. And we're back here with Andy Pratt. So, Andy.
You have to say that every time? You said tape that, I think.
Well, I like saying it, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. It's live, right? So live on tape. But
Okay.
but yeah, I could say it, but for time, it makes sense, and then you get to hear it too. You get the pleasure of hearing me do
Whether I
that.
want to or not.
Right, there you go.
It's okay. I appreciate you giving me this place.
Yeah, well, we're glad to have you. I mean, so Avenging Annie, can you tell us any more about the song?
Well, I did. I mean, about the song. It's like I was clueless when I did it. I was enjoying being young and stoned and making music. What am I trying to say? And it came out, and it was I wrote the song, and it was in a not complete form. It went on too long or whatever, and then I think I worked on it, and I recorded it first with Bill Reisman at the I think we did it in Winchester, and it became a hit as a demo. There was a man named Dick Wingate who promoted it, and it became a hit as a demo at Providence at Brown University, and that was nice. And I went down to Brown, and I did a big show at this theater with a big blue curtain, and I had Jesse Henderson and Abe Laboriel and these great sax players from Berkeley and a whole band of people. We did Be My Baby and all kinds of stuff, and that was a nice night. We had a great night then. And then John Nagy. I was working with John Nagy, who was producing me, and I met him through Reisman. He came to the studio, and he was around. He was in Earth Opera with the Peter Rowan and all that stuff. But he took me to New York, and we ate at the Carnegie Deli, and we went to this, I think it was Columbia Recording Studio, and I did Avenging Annie and Give It All to Music, and Clive Davis walks in with his entourage and signs me up, and that was and then Clive Davis, and then we recorded. We went back to the new Angus studio, which is now in Fayetteville, Mass, Southborough, Mass.
So what's the Angus studio?
That was Bill. That was my studio and Bill's studio. AENGUS, like the cow. And they used to, then the name changed to Anguish when they got in trouble with he was trading with 3M and all. He was big. He was doing all these deals and stuff, and those bring sorrow, I'll tell you. But anyway, we were flying high, and we did Avenging Annie that night in Fayetteville, and Bill Elliott played the organ with a guy named Jeff Levine playing the stops, and it was released, and it was a radio hit. But then, of course, Clive Davis got into trouble with Columbia and stuff. It's all big time politics in the music industry that ruins your career.
Yeah. Well, politics are difficult to navigate all the time.
But it was wonderful. I had a wonderful experience riding around Boston, and it's on the radio. I'm with the Columbia promo man, and they're using a cell phone, but it's big,
a giant one,
yeah. And they're calling up and going, RKO, play it, and that whole thing of hearing, and they were playing it. It got played on AM radio, and during that period, I had a knee operation. I was in the hospital. I could call up BCN or whatever and say, play this song, and they would, was kind of the difference between being on top and not on top is huge.
Yeah, well, that's kind of cool that you had that experience.
Yeah, it was. It was wonderful. Yeah, I'm lucky to have had it. Yeah.
And how long did that stay on the charts?
How long do things stay in the charts? I don't know. 3 months, or I don't know. They'd have to look into all that history, the Billboard history and stuff. But I'm not sure. But it still gets played, and it still gets me friends. It's nice.
Yeah. And but you've been writing a lot of stuff since then.
And I also started to do cover songs.
Okay.
So I got a nice cover song.
Okay, what's that?
About what's love got to do with it. It's a
good.
kind of a reaction to the state of the world today. So Tina was great. No, okay. You must understand that the touch of your hand makes my pulse react. It's physical, simply logical. Don't you think the only thing I might be losing parts of it, but I it means anymore. What's love got to do with it? What's love but a second-hand emotion? What's love got to do with it? Who needs a heart if a heart can be broken? Yeah, what's the second word? Oh, I'm sorry. Lyrics. You know, the old days of Barbra Streisand and stuff, and maybe some people do it, they had, you know, the lyrics flashing on stage. I'm feeling confused when you're close to me. Heard it somewhere. I've got cause to be. There's a name for it. There's a phrase that fits. Whatever the reason, do it to me. What's love got to do? What's love but a second-hand emotion? What's love got to do with it? Who needs a heart? Heart can be broken. Solo. How I knew everything I had to say. I've been thinking of my own protection. Scared me to feel this way. I'd love got to do with it. I'd love got to second in it wrong. What's love got to do? Who needs a heart when the heart can be broken? What love got to do with it? That love but a sweet old-fashioned notion. What's love got to do with it? Who needs a heart when the heart can be broken? Yeah, Tina was smart. She left the United States to get away from taxes or whatever.
Oh, where'd she go? I didn't know that.
She's in Europe, I think, but she comes back. She's just done. I think I've seen her on TV and stuff. She was on The View, I think.
Oh, was she?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember her in the 80s. She was really wild. And then she was in that Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, she was great. I mean,
fun.
actually, just recently, there's an interview with Ike, and who says that actually he didn't beat her that much, and that he's a shy person.
Yeah.
You never know with these people, but still, it's funny because I was playing tennis with these people, and they're all shocked at Shakira and what's her name?
J-Lo.
The people at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, J-Lo was the
J-Lo,
other one,
and
yeah.
they're doing sort of soft porn or something as they do it. But I think, more power to them. I mean, that's how, and Ike says in his interview, I taught her how to move, and I taught her how to, that's the same thing. He taught Tina the same thing.
Right.
And, the cars, I mean, they had, sex sells. Why not, make some money?
Right.
I don't know, just me.
Well, I actually didn't mind it, but
Yeah, I know. I didn't mind it either. They're
yeah, and
You're probably more used to performance than the average person in the...
well, maybe. I'm certainly used to more folk music performance, which doesn't involve a lot of that kind of dancing.
Right.
But
I actually still follow pop music. I think what's her name, Billie Eilish, is great.
Oh yeah,
I mean, I'm a, because I once was like when I was in my peak, the police would record something and I'd copy it, and that kind of, that's because I knew that what I would write would be heard and stuff like that. It's quite a thing to be on top.
Yeah, so you took other styles and tried to adapt to
Everything
your music?
I've ever written and played is, stolen from somebody.
Well, that's pretty much everybody.
They said that about Dylan too, right?
Yeah. I mean, everybody steals from something,
Right.
but it's not really stealing.
It's all been done before, how
Yeah.
can you not?
But it's
Until
got your
somebody sues you for,
Right.
plagiarism,
Well, it's got your spin. So,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Well, it's like Avenging Annie. I mean, that's a Woody Guthrie song, but I would definitely not say that that's stealing the Woody Guthrie song because
if
it's
Woody Guthrie
very different.
If he had a family like Marvin Gaye's family, that they might have. But the other thing is that I wasn't that successful. There wasn't huge amounts of money coming in. So as soon as that starts happening,
Right.
all the rats come out of the water.
Yeah, but but I mean, there was that famous one, that's Led Zeppelin sued
Oh, yeah.
Rainbow, and they found that it wasn't close enough.
It was Stairway to Heaven, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't really that close. I mean, it was a different song. And,
It became a new way to get famous and make money, which is,
yeah,
that's what motivates people in
yeah. Well,
money mad country we live in.
yeah. Well, covers are good to do, though. I know Snake.
Snake is beautiful. He does
Yeah.
beautiful stuff. Does he come to your?
Oh yeah, he's at the open mic a lot.
Oh, he did. He was doing My Blue Heaven and just
Right.
all this wonderful old stuff. He does beautiful stuff.
You should come to the Sunday open mic 2 to 5 because
He comes to that.
he comes a lot, and he's
Where
he's
does he
excellent.
live?
In Western Mass somewhere.
Yeah, he was the bass player in Beacon Street Union, and I used to hang out with John Lincoln Wright, who drank himself to death in the Cantab, who was a great, he did a lot of country music and stuff like that. But he was a talent too.
Yeah, but Snake does a lot of covers as well.
Snake does beautiful stuff.
And so, why are you doing more covers now? You like to find stuff and make it your own, or?
I hear these songs in my head, like that. There's a Toto song, but I can't play. I don't think I play that, but I just, or they hear them on the radio because I'm sort of an old radio addict, and they touch me, so I want to do them, but
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what I do too at the open mics. Is just you hear something and you're like, I should be singing that.
Yeah.
because that's perfect. I got a few like that. Like Carly Simon had this song in the 80s, Let the River Run. It was actually the theme for Working Girl, the movie.
Oh, yeah?
But I heard it and I was like, this is just an awesome song. It's just something I have to do. Mm-hmm. So that's similar to what you experienced?
Yeah, that's right. It's like that, yeah. Here, we'll do this one.
When you close your eyes, when you go to sleep, it's down to the rhythm of a heartbeat. I can hear the things I'm dreaming of. When you open up your heart and the truth comes out. Tell me that you want me. Tell me that you need me. Tell me that you love me. And I know that I'm right, 'cause I hear it in the night. Hear the secrets that you keep when you're talking in your sleep. I hear the secrets that you keep when you're talking in your sleep. When I hold you in my arms at night, don't you know you're sleeping in the spotlight? And all the things dreaming of, I can hear 'em when you're talking in your sleep. Tell me that you want me. Tell me that you need me. Tell me that you love me. And I know that I'm right, 'cause I hear it in the night. I hear the secrets that you keep when you're talking in your sleep. I hear the secrets that you keep when you're talking in your sleep. You tell me that you want me. Tell me that you need me. Tell me that you love me. And I know that I'm right, 'cause I hear it in the night.
All right. So that's the Romantics.
The Romantics, yeah.
Yeah.
Because my manager was Nathan Weiss, and he signed the Romantics, and Emperor Records, and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And my new manager got me to sing with American Vinyl, and the Romantics guy's in that band, mm-hmm. and they played that in the rehearsal, and it just hit me. So yeah, like you, I'm wanting to cover it. You know?
Yeah. So you did Avenging Annie, and then what did you do after?
I went on a 3-week tour. I had an amazing band. I had the band Spyro Gyro was founded by Dave Samuels, and he was my drummer, and Schofield was my guitar player. Who's he was not he was okay.
Yeah,
I know Mike Stern too, and he's a whatever. Anyway, these jazz guys, but so he was my guitar player, and the organ player was Russell Walden, who was a great, wonderful man, and he wrote this great song I used to do. If you can find that, you can't find it on the web. I have an album called Andy Pratt Live, and there's a song, mm-hmm. A Woman's Gonna Change Me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, maybe I could stick it in right here.
Stick it in, yeah. Stick that in. That's a Russ Walden song. It's a beautiful romantic song.
Okay, I'll put it in.
Thank you.
Something tells me I've been here before. Center stage in blues and green. I can't recall the lines anymore. They've been lost in other scenes. Maybe it's different. The lights have cooled down, and I've long since lost that old review. And if a woman is gonna change me, well, it might be you. High up on the hillside, lingering on the leaf, in a moment of wondering who you'll turn out to be. Murmur of memories filtering out my fears, and the feeling of waking after sleeping all these years. Can we sit and talk for a while? It's precious just to get you alone. Understanding was always a trial. Feelings felt but never shown. Sweet promises said but never meant. Oh, thinking that saying makes them true. But if a woman is gonna change me, well, I hope it's you. Who's gonna change me? Woman who's gonna change me? Woman who's gonna change me? Well, I hope it's you.
Nice what we can do with these computers. And,
Right, you just edit.
I think computers were made for old people, you know.
Well, it depends on the old people.
Yeah.
Some old people want nothing to do with them.
No,
Some
I mean,
do.
Yeah, that's true.
My grandfather passed away, but he, when he was, in his 70s, he was like taking old computers and rebuilding them, and it depends on your interest.
Yeah.
Some people tinker, some people don't.
Yeah, no, some people can do amazing things.
So
some of the best musicians and stuff are Asperger's and stuff, like Fernando Perdomo, who I work with. I mean, he's good with people. He doesn't have but I've never met anybody. I've never hung with anybody who had a greater capacity to listen to music. I was at South by Southwest with this guy. He's on the web. He's a great producer. He's now playing with Jacob Dylan and stuff. But he's in L.A.
Mm-hmm.
We went to South by Southwest, and he just wanted to hear the next band, and I was like, enough. And I was also with this other guy in Holland who was like that too. I went to bed. He's an engineer, and I hear him playing music all night. I do some of that. I got a slightly greater capacity now, but I like silence too.
Yeah. So then after, what was your next project after the Avenging Annie came out?
Okay, well, that tour broke up, and then I went to this thing called the Life Institute in Boston, which is a positive thinking. Was sort of religion without religion. And I did a record called Resolution that came out of that, and Mark Doyle and I wrote a lot of those songs, and that's a kind of beloved record that I did, that was my first record with Arif Mardin and Steve Gadd and Tony Levin and all these great people played on it. We did it in New York, and it was a lot of people loved that record because it was a special, good record, and Luther Vandross even sang on it before he got big. So I can play songs on the piano from that. Shall I do that?
Sure, if you'd like. So why don't we move over to the piano?
Okay. This is called Everything Falls into Place. Sat in the airport, a couple of pilots reborn, and welcomed each other's urges, do as we'd sworn. You said you're a good man, let your power come out and perform. I said, shield yourself in the past, get yourself a life full and warm. And then you turned to me with a smile and a beam on your face, and said, ooh, when we're loving each other, how everything falls into place. Now our plans for the future, everything coming in time. And some things are not whole yet, still I see them working out fine. And the unexpected benefits occur as I work toward these dreams. Make my life full of beauty and my heart full of joy and serene. Unimagined levels of achievement, of joy, deepening grace. Ooh, and we're loving each other, how everything falls into everything coming in time. As I watched all the people getting on the plane, it seemed as though their only so calm and so sane. But then some stocking legs called up an old vision of myself, disgraced and alone, which made the scene strange and frightening. For a moment my life turned to stone. But then I relaxed and rejoiced, for I'm free from that nightmare what I have replaced with a vision of love, how everything falls into place. When we're loving each other, how everything moves into place. Ooh, when we're loving each other, how everything is in place. Thank you. There's another one from this record. My father died. I wrote a song about that.
This is the way I say it. Where were you? Where was I? Goodbye. I still got work to do. Me and for you. Do all I can do. Like you want me to. A dream of you and I. And find myself tears. All those years. You used to carry me to bed. And I turned away from you. I held back my love. I know that now. Can't stop my love for you. Here I am, still alive. Can't stop my love for you. In my heart, you're alive. I saw you, you were crying. We weren't lying when we said I love you. Can't stop my love for you. Here I am, still alive. Can't stop my love for you. In my heart, you're alive. Now as we move along, you're in our song. You're in our silence. With you we are strong. Stop my love, no. Can't stop my love for you. I can't stop my love for you.
More?
Sure, you want to do one more?
Okay, this is called "Give It All to Music." It was the side two, first song on side two.
Right now I'm alone, walking through heaven all by myself. Somebody sent me home, but I don't blame her, I did it myself. Silent eyes, smiling hideaway, that's all we know. Smiling hideaway, but still we know. Outside the cars go by, like the raindrops that fall from the sky. Inside my song grows, starts with a feeling that changes and goes. Dark piano, be mine tonight. I'm in your spell, and right now I'll give it all to music.
right by my side. Right now there's so much music, so much music playing inside. Most of it gets away before I can catch it and make it pay. I chase it anyway. Then out of nowhere the music plays. All I could be now wouldn't be enough. But I find you in time, and right now I'll give it all to music. Up to these angels right by my side. Right now, so much music, so much music playing inside. Okay. Thanks. Say it again?
So that was great, Andy. What are those songs called that you just played?
The last song I called is "Give It All to Music." It's from the Columbia album called Andy Pratt with Avenging Annie on it. It's kind of in the middle of that. And the two songs before are from the Resolution album. The first one was called "Everything Falls Into Place." The second one was called "Can't Stop My Love."
Okay.
And that was you can hear Luther singing at the end of that.
All right, that sounds good. So what advice do you give other musicians about how to be in the business? And you've actually dealt with it in a serious way. So if people are coming up and doing stuff, what do you tell them?
Well, watch out for business people. Just make sure that because when I was in the business, the lawyers that worked for me also worked for the record company. I think it's different now, but just be careful with people who might want to make money on you.
Right.
And work on your craft, and you might have a shot.
All right. Well, this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed talking with you, and
Me too. Thank you.
maybe we'll do this again in about 50 episodes, and because we do twice a week. So
Yeah, no, that's okay. Thank you very much. It's a nice thing for me.
and I guess is there a place?
Didn't go on too long, right?
No, is there a place you want to tell people that they can find you?
Well, just Google Andy Pratt, singer-songwriter, and you'll get me.
Okay, and are you playing live?
You can buy my stuff on Amazon, and I have a website called andyprattbandcamp.com, too. I am working on getting shows. I have no shows planned at the moment. I go to open mics a lot, but I'm on the web all the time. You can get my stuff on the web.
Okay, and you're on Facebook as well.
On Facebook and Twitter and all. I'm fighting the Trumpies everywhere I go.
Okay.
I love all the Trumpies too. I mean, I'm not saying anything. And
Right.
The voters,
Right. All right. Well, thanks. And this has been an interview with Andy Pratt, and we are at the end. So I just want to remind you to go to hearingroom.net and check out our membership page and check out all our events, and also go to the Facebook page of the Greenville Junction Shop. That's JUNKTIONSHOPPE, Greenville Junction Shop. And they have a website as well, greenvillejunction.com. Have a great week.
If you start with a dream and share it with some friends, the idea deepens and grows. The dream takes shape, it has form and substance, a community soon arose. A listening room, a hearing room, a place to find a home to play. A listening room, the hearing room, express yourself.